So to perform the amplitude modulation, we need two types of signal. First is message signal, that is also known as information signal, or we can say it as baseband signal. We are saying it as baseband signal because it is actually representing the band of frequencies. So another type of signal is that is carrier signal, that will actually carry the information from sender to the receiver. So this is our carrier signal, that is high frequency signal. This is also known as radio frequency signal. So we will actually use the trainer to perform the amplitude modulation, from which one block is used to actually create the information signal, and another is used to create the message signal and also carrier signal.
Okay.
So we will perform the amplitude modulation and demodulation on this trainer, that is Tascas trainer, that is code number is 40516. So we will first take the signal, that is a message signal, from this block. You can see here also here written that is AF modulation signal generator. So we will take the message signal from this block, and for the radio frequency or carrier signal we will use this block. From here you can see we can vary the amplitude of the carrier signal. Also we can vary the carrier signal frequency from 100 kilohertz to 1 megahertz. So this is the amplitude modulation generator, that is also known as double balance amplitude modulator. On this block we will actually input the audio signal, that is actually message signal. Also we will input the carrier signal, because actually amplitude modulation is superimposing of the message signal on the carrier signal. So on this node we will take the carrier signal, and on this node we will take the message signal. Basically this circuit will actually superimpose both of these signal and give the output on TP2 point, that is the actually AM modulated output. We will get the output on this node. So we will actually doing the oscilloscope common ground. On this point we can ground the oscilloscope on any point on this trainer for grounding, and I am placing the channel 1 on the message signal output because I want to observe the audio signal on the oscilloscope. So I have placed the channel 1 on the output of message signal. So we can also vary the frequency of the message signal from this node. You can see here the range of frequency is about 300 Hz to 3.4 kHz, and also we can vary the amplitude of message signal from this node. So this is our message signal. As I'm decreasing the amplitude is decreased. Now I'm increasing the amplitude. The amplitude of message signal is increasing. So I'm continuously decreasing and increasing amplitude of message signal. Also we can vary the frequency of message signal. You can see here we are varying the frequency. This is decreasing the frequency to minimum range and also increasing the frequency to maximum range. So this is how we can actually set the frequency of message signal. So this is the demonstration of our message signal, that is actually audio signal, or we can say it as a baseband signal. Now we will actually see the demonstration of carrier signal. We will see the difference between carrier signals and message signal. Okay, as we have already discussed, for the carrier signal, that is also known as radio frequency signal, we will take the output from here, from this node, and we will vary the frequency from this node. You can see the range of radio frequency is approximately 100 kilohertz to 1 megahertz, and also we will vary the amplitude from this node. Okay, we can also see it on oscilloscope as well. As I am increasing the amplitude, you can see the waveforms are so close because the frequency of carrier signal is too much. Okay, let me decrease the carrier signal frequency. as I'm increasing the frequency and also decreasing the frequency of carrier signal. Also we can vary the amplitude of carrier signal using this knob. You can see here on the oscilloscope as well. As I am decreasing the amplitude is decreased so that it is decreased. That is the demonstration of carrier signal. Okay, now I have used the both of the channel 1 and channel 2. You can see here on the oscilloscope. So we have selected the channel 1 and channel 2 to represent the information signal and the carrier signal. The blue color shows the information signal, that is low frequency signal, and the yellow waveforms shows the carrier signal, that is higher frequency signal. So you can clearly see the difference between information signal and the carrier signal. So we are taking the message signal from this block as a output to our AM modulator generator block, that is double balance amplitude modulator. You can see we have given the sign output to the mode input, that is modulator block input, and we are making the ground of both of these blocks together, the message signal generator block and the AM modulator block. These are grounded at common point. This you can see here. Also we are taking the radio frequency output, that is carrier signal frequency output, from the RF carrier signal oscillator from this block as an input to the double balance amplitude modulator in this point. This is our carrier generator and this is the input to our AM modulator as a carrier. Okay, so this is our AM modulator block. Now we will check the output of our AM modulation on this point, TP2 point. We will see the AM modulation output. So this is our AM modulated output. You can clearly see here the frequency of the signal is the actually frequency of our carrier signal, but the amplitude of our signal is changing according to the information signal. Okay, if I am changing the amplitude of message signal, our AM modulation signal will also vary. You can see as I am changing the amplitude, AM modulated signal is also varying. Also by varying the frequency of message signal, the AM modulated signals also vary. You can see here clearly. As in theory, we have discussed the modulation index, that is actually the ratio of Vm over Vc. Vm is actually the amplitude of message signal and Vc is the amplitude of carrier signal. We have discussed three cases, that is if Vm is less than Vc, there will be m less than 1. So this will be the case, there will be gap between this and you will get the under modulating waves. This is the under modulation, result of under modulation. Also if Vm is equal to Vc, you will get the m equal to 1, that will be 100% modulation or 100 perfect modulation. So this is the case of 100% modulation. After that, if Vm is greater than Vc, this is the third case, then you will get the m greater than 1. That means modulation index will be greater than 1. That will actually cause the distortion in our envelope or AM modulated signal, that is actually over modulation. That is unavoidable we can't actually use in this in our actually daily life or communication system, because this actually distorts the output. If we actually recover our output on the receiver side, then we will not get the envelope, because we are getting the distortion here on this point. So we will actually get the output on receiver side like this. So we will not get the envelope or information signal back in the form as we have sent on the sender side. So on oscilloscope, so on oscilloscope you can see here, this is the case of under modulation when m is less than 1. That means our message signal amplitude is less than carrier signal amplitude. So this is the first case, that is under modulation. And this is the case when Vm is equal to Vc. That means our modulation index is 100% or perfect modulation. Okay, to measure the maximum and minimum value of voltage, we will actually use the cursor function, and from cursor function we vary it to voltage, because we want to actually measure the amplitude. So we have actually fixed the cursor on volt. We are getting the output in this form. So to measure the maximum and minimum value, for maximum value we will actually add the amplitude of carrier plus amplitude of modulated signal, that is actually message signal. So this is the maximum amplitude formula. And to measure the minimum value of AM signal, we will actually subtract the amplitude of carrier minus message signal amplitude. So in this way we will get the maximum and minimum value. You can see here I have taken the carrier signal as an example of 1 volt, plus 1 volt and minus 1 volt. This is the actually AC peak value, and this is the negative value, and this is our message signal with the amplitude plus 2 volt. So this is AM and this is the negative AM. So we will get the AM maximum value by adding the carrier amplitude and the message signal amplitude. So carrier amplitude in our example is plus 1 volt, so this is plus 1, and plus the message signal amplitude is of 2 volts. So we have added the both of these signal amplitude and we get the 3 volts. So this is the maximum amplitude of 3 volt. So our amplitude modulated signal will have the maximum amplitude of 3 volt. This is 3 volt of amplitude modulated signal. So also we will get the minimum value by subtracting the carrier signal amplitude minus message signal. So carrier signal amplitude is of, you can see here an example, 1 volt, minus message signal amplitude is minus 2 volt. So 1 minus 2 we will get actually minus 1, but actually we are getting here absolute value. So minimum value we are getting is 1 volt. So the minimum value of our amplitude modulated signal will be plus 1 volt. So this is plus 1 volt. So in terms of maximum and minimum, the formula of modulation index is A maximum minus A minimum upon A maximum plus A minimum. So we have get the maximum value 3 volt and minimum value is 1 volt. So 3 minus 1 and 3 plus 1, 2 by 4. That will be actually equal to m equal to 1 by 2. So we get the modulation index of 0.5. So this is actually under modulation example. So on oscilloscope we will measure the maximum and minimum value, because we will actually need the readings to fill these blocks. In first number table you can see we have to fix these values: message signal frequency almost 1 kHz and carrier frequency 1 kHz. Also the amplitude of carrier signal up to 10 peak volt. After that we have to vary the amplitude of message signal. In first reading we have to set the message signal amplitude is 1 volt, and then we have to measure the maximum voltage of the AM modulated signal and the minimum voltage of AM modulated signal. Okay, now we will check how to measure the maximum value and the minimum value of amplitude modulated signal on the oscilloscope. So using cursor function, we have actually moved our cursor or set our cursor on the top of amplitude modulated signal. This cursor is on top of the amplitude modulated signal, and you can see the reading Vp is equal to 270 millivolt. So this is our maximum value of amplitude modulated signal, that is 270 millivolt. Okay, to measure the minimum value, we have to move the same cursor on the minimum. Okay, this is the actually minimum value on this point. So the minimum value is about 110 millivolts. So this is the minimum value of our AM modulated signal. So using cursor function, we can actually measure the time and frequency of our amplitude modulated signal as well. So this is all about lab number 1, amplitude modulation demonstration. Also we have to perform the amplitude demodulation in this lab. So we are now moving toward the amplitude demodulation. So AM demodulation is actually function that is actually performed on the receiver side. On the receiver side, the receiver will actually get the superimposition of carrier and information, but on receiver side, receiver will actually is interested in information signal. So it will actually delete or eliminate the carrier signal by separating the information signal from the carrier signal. So for performing this function is known as demodulation. So purpose of any detector or demodulator is to recover the original modulating signal, that means information signal, with the minimum of distortion and interference. So receiver will perform the detector or demodulation function on the AM modulated signal. It will actually extract the information signal without any distortion and interference. So this is the basics detector circuit for the AM. So you can see here in starting there is a diode that is followed by the filter circuit. We know the diode function that it rectify the AC signal, that means it will give the half wave rectified output. Here on this point you will get the half wave rectified output. After that there is a filter circuit. In filter circuit there is capacitor, so continuously capacitor will charge on this point. After that it will also discharge, then again charge, then is discharge. So in this way on the resistor we will get the output that is actually equal to the envelope of the input. You can see the output is actually following this envelope. So we are getting the same information that we have actually sent on the sender side. So AM demodulation input will be AM modulated signal, and we will get the output as an information signal in the AM demodulation circuit. Same trainer we will perform the AM demodulation, that is also known as diode detector, because in this circuit of detector we are using the diode as a primary element. So the output of AM modulation is given as input to this detector circuit. This is the AM modulated input on this detector circuit, and we will take the output of AM detector circuit from this point, that is TP.6. So this is the detector output. Okay, first turn on the trainer. Okay, you will see the output on oscilloscope. You can see here we are approximately getting the same envelope of the information signal. This is actually following the same envelope that we have in our information system signal. Okay, that is all about the AM detector. Okay, done with lab number 1.